Hey, how you guys doing? Packers and Wine here with another GTFO video, and today I have a detailed weapon guide on the SMG. Now when I go over these detailed guides, I like to break them up into three separate parts. The first part is the description, and this is where we'll take a look at its ammo capacity, its damage, and any of that sort of information. The second part will be the pros and cons of the weapon, and the third part will be me actually using the weapon against the different types of enemies within the game. So let's go ahead and get started. Now when it comes to describing the weapon, this SMG has a specific name just like the other guns in the game, and it's called the Van Auken LTC-5 submachine gun. However, most players are just going to refer to it as the SMG. Now this gun is considered a primary weapon, and it has a max ammo capacity of 393 rounds, and that 393 does include the magazine. Now, speaking of the magazine, each one can hold up to 40 rounds of ammo. It has low damage and a high fire rate due to it being fully automatic. And lastly, the range is short, which is good for dealing with those hordes that sort of overwhelm you and your team pretty quick when you don't have much time to distance yourselves. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons of the SMG, starting with the pros. And number one on this list is that the SMG has a very high fire rate. Obviously having the high fire rate is good when dealing with the hordes. The second pro is that it has a ton of ammo in both total capacity and magazine capacity. 393 rounds is definitely more than enough to last for the entirety of a rundown mission, and having that 40 round magazine is a huge help, and it also works really well with having that high fire rate. I've used this gun a couple of times for testing now, and I still have yet to run out of ammo. It's just more than enough. The third pro is that it has a quick reload time. In fact, the SMG actually has the fastest reload time out of all of the primary guns in the game. Now let's take a look at the cons, and for me personally, these three cons are pretty big deal breakers as to why I don't really use this gun. And the first disadvantage to this gun is that it has very low damage. If you are not up in the enemy's face shooting them in the head, you're pretty much just tickling them at that point. The SMG has the lowest damage among the primaries, which is definitely its biggest flaw. The second con is that this gun has low accuracy. The amount of recoil on this gun is ridiculous and absurd. It's pretty much useless when shooting it fully automatic. The best way, and probably the only way to use this gun as of right now, is to burst fire, which in my opinion pretty much defeats the purpose of an SMG. And the third and last con is that this gun has low range. As I said before, in order to be useful with this gun, you have to be up in the enemy's face, which will cause you to lose a lot more health during the process. And at that point, you're better off just using a different gun. And as usual, before I show the SMG in action, I just want to let you guys know that during this section of the gameplay, you're going to notice that my health isn't decreasing and that I'm not flinching when getting injured, and I might have unlimited ammo here and there. That is because I'm using mods in order to speed up the process of acquiring the footage that I needed. I highly recommend not using mods when playing this game. It definitely does take away some of the fundamental mechanics that make this game really fun. If you are going to use mods, just use them in a single player setting, like I'm doing in this footage, or if you are playing with a group of friends that are completely alright with it. Alright, let's get on with the testing. So for this test, we're doing the smaller guys, so this accounts for the small strikers and the small shooters. For the first guy, I just want to shoot him in the head just to see how many bullets it takes. So it took about 5 shots to take his head off, and let's see, we're at 10 shots now. It took about 13 shots to kill this guy. Now, just remember guys, in these gameplays, these are controlled settings. I have unlimited health, I'm not flinching, and in this case, I'm trying to be as accurate as possible. In an actual game setting, these guys move around a lot more, obviously, so you might end up using a little bit more ammo when trying to kill these guys. So for this guy, I was only aiming at the torso, and I am about, let's see, 24 bullets to kill this guy in the torso. So for this next test, we have the Big Striker. Now when I do these tests on the Strikers, I only like to aim for the torso on these guys just to demonstrate how healthy they are. And I just curious for myself to see how many bullets it would take just for the torso. Obviously you want to aim for the head, as with every other enemy in the game. Just for testing purposes, I'm not aiming for the head. So I had to go through an entire clip, and it looks like I had to go through 10 more bullets. So it took about 50 bullets to kill the Big Striker. And now it's the Scout's turn. So for the Scout, we're going to aim for the head, and then for the rest, we're going to aim for the torso. So for the head here, it takes about 8 shots to the head, and now for the rest, we're just going to unload into the torso. So it looks like it took about 19 shots to kill the Scout. And last but not least, we have the Charger. So for these guys, I'm just gonna do just a general shooting at this guy here, mainly in the torso. So we're gonna see how many bullets it takes. I'm about 10 bullets into him now. We're about 20 bullets in, and we're about 24 bullets. So it takes nearly 24 bullets to kill the Charger. So when it comes to the Shadow guys, I chose not to include gameplay of them for 2 reasons. The first reason is because they are invisible, and the only way to show the effectiveness of the gun is by hit markers, and those can be a little difficult to see. But mainly the second reason is because the Shadow guys have the exact same health as the regular Strikers and the regular shooters, so it should cost the same amount of ammunition to take them down. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for this video on the SMG. I hope this video and my other ones help you guys decide which weapons are right for you and your rundown missions. So stay tuned for some more of these weapon guides and in-depth videos, and as always, thanks for watching. This is Packers NY, and I'll see you in the next one.